Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Stamp Swap. This is designed by Paul Solomon and it is published by Stonemaier. But before we do talk about this, we just want to remind you to subscribe so you can see all our videos as they come out.
All right, so today we're talking about Stamp Swap. Stamp Swap. Stomp Swap.
Okay, so tell us about the game.
I have a really hard time saying this game name because it almost rhymes, but it doesn't at all.
It's definitely a tongue twister
All right,
for Ryan.
so Stamp Swamp. Nailed it. All right. So what's happening in Swamp Stomp is what we're going to do is, first thing we're going to do is we are going to draw a series of event cards based off of, let me go backwards. This game is about the collection of stamps, stamp collectors, right? Stomp collectors. And then you're going to this convention where you are trading with other stamp collectors until you have the coolest stamp collection at the end of the game. We're going to play a total of 3 rounds. So let me walk you through each one of the rounds. Basically, it starts off with drawing event cards. You have to draw event cards based off the number of players, but you're going to only show the bottom half of one of them, and the rest are kind of going to get splayed out behind them. So they have kind of multi-use cards, multi-use effects. The text, the only one text you're going to see is a special event that's going to occur that round, some kind of a rule-breaking event, some extra resources, or some other way of scoring, whatever the case is. And then kind of behind that is going to be laid all of the additional what you're going to be drafting from. You're going to build a pool of stamps that we're all going to be drafting from, and this tells you what style, how many, and whether they're face up or face down, and maybe even some cards that you can draft as well that give you additional special abilities or scoring opportunities. All right, so then, based off whoever is the first player, they are then going to, by the way, they're going to give up their first player token because that's now one of the things that you can draft as well. And then one at a time, we're going to take turns just drafting tiles from this board. And you're going to take them below your board, and so that way they're part of your, what you've collected. But now, once everyone's collected 6 items, the rest gets discarded that wasn't selected. And then, out of those 6, you're going to choose your favorite piece, the piece that you just will not trade, will not give up, and you get to reserve that. Everything else now becomes an ice cut you choose mechanism. So you're going to make 2 separate piles based off the things that you've drafted, the remaining 5 items that you have in front of you. And you can put them in a group of 2, and a group of 3, or a group of 1, and a group of 4, whatever you want to do. But just keep in mind, you want to make them as kind of balanced as possible, so that way you still get some good stuff back to yourself. All right, so now, starting with the first player again, what we're going to do is we are going to choose another player's piles. So let's say I'm over here, I am first player, Bethany's got 2 piles in front of her, I choose one of her piles, I take it and I put it down below my board. That is now my pieces I'm going to be using later. Her second pile that she made goes to her. Alright, so now her tiles are all claimed. Now it's her turn. She gets to choose another player at the table, she's going to choose one of their piles. Same thing's going to happen, she's going to take their pile, and then they get to take the leftover pile for themselves. If there's a situation where, like, let's say, one person didn't get selected, then that's not a problem. They just get to keep both of their piles. All right, so now you've got your own collection. You've done the swap phase. Now what you're going to do is all the tiles and cards that you've done, you put them out on the board as part of what they call the show phase. You place them on the board, and then we go through a series of scoring opportunities. You have these 3 tickets, and we have 3 rounds, but there's 4 scoring opportunities laid out in front of you. Each round, you're going to choose one of those scoring opportunities, and you're going to place your ticket out in front of you. And you're going to score based off of what you currently have on the board of that parameter. All right, then you can do it all over again. The new first player, they are going to put out some event cards. You're going to do whatever that event says, lay out some more tiles. You're going to draft them. Then you're going to do the I cut you choose mechanism. Then you can put it on your board and do another scoring mechanism. Or you're going to do a total of 3 full rounds, and then you have a final scoring round where you're going to get all the points from basically all the rest of the things that you've done, all the things that you've collected, all of the different cards. All those things are all going to happen at the very end of the game. So 3 full rounds, a scoring round at the end of each one of them, plus a final scoring. And that is how you play Stamp Swamp. Stop swap.
Stamp Swap.
Stamp swap.
Yes. Okay, so
Yes!
I am a huge fan of when games put a reference card in there, and so I really enjoy this because when we first set up the scoring parameters, I was like, what do they mean color? Like, what do they mean theme? I have no idea what they're talking about, but they have that on the back of your turn order card, and it's pretty clearly laid out, so you're not going to be confused about the stamps that are on your board. So I really, really like that. And coupled with that, there's not like a million bits in this game, but even with that, instead of putting baggies or anything, they still have this really nice tray where you can put all the stamps in there. I love that. I love that this is not like a huge component heavy game, and yet the organization is still top notch in that box.
I like how you are drafting items to be what you use to I cut you choose. I feel like in a lot of games you're just kind of given stuff. Okay, here's your pieces. Now I cut you choose with those pieces. In this, you are actually drafting the things that you want to then eventually cut and choose with. So you might be drafting things that you really, really want, right? Because you want them. But then also, maybe you look around at everybody else's board and figure out what they want and draft some of those too. So that way you can offer those up and protect the things that you want by putting out things everybody else wants on one pile. It's hopefully they take that, so that way you can keep the things that you want. And even still, if it doesn't all work out, you at least got to keep in reserve one tile that you really, really wanted to make sure that you had. I think it's a cool way of doing it like how you choose, but also not being like, oh man, I didn't get anything that I wanted, everything, all the stuff that I wanted.
Yeah.
You still get something that you know for sure was like a must-have.
The 2-player version of this worked absolutely great. You're still getting the full feel of the game. In a higher player count, you kind of have higher scores because there's just more things out there. So there's more things for you to draft on. So you can get really specific with the different scoring parameters. You almost don't have to wish something's going to come out. Something is going to come out. And since you can only score one thing per round, you might have seen that your other opponents have already scored a certain thing. And so now when a lot of those come out, you can kind of draft to that. And you just don't see as many as those cards or as many of the stamps in a 2-player game. However, it scales really, really well. Plays 2-player great. You just will have a higher score if you play a higher player count.
Every once in a while. All right, so I'm going to tell you something. I used to collect stamps a little bit. Not like, I didn't go to like stamps.
Bit. Not a lot of it, but just
I didn't like go
bit.
to the meetings and like trade them or do any of that kind of stuff. But like I had a small stamp collection as a kid. And every once in a while I'd find one that was super, super rare. And it was so exciting. So this has these rare stamps that have this kind of foil to them that makes them really nice and shiny. And the same thing comes up whenever they come up randomly in the piles. You just like, ooh, it's exciting. And then like everyone kind of fights over that one.
They stand out,
Yeah, everyone fights over those, and they're worth a ton of points, and they look really cool too. So I think that did a great job of kind of, I don't know, mimicking that world of the stamp collecting part of this aspect of the game, which is, overall is kind of abstract in a lot of ways, but that one aspect with the rarity, I was like, yes, that's so fun. I can't wait to get one of those. And if you don't get one, sad days.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this game. This is another one of those games where I understood it as soon as we were playing. Once we scored that first round and you know I can only do this, I'm not even going to be trying for these things anymore. I'm going to be trying for something else. It kind of all makes sense. And there is a certain scoring parameter that everybody's competing against for the end of the game. And then your board also has, every board comes with your specialized scoring parameter as something. So something that you specifically are going for. So I thought this was really quick. It was really simple to learn, really easy to understand, and yet you still felt like I'm accomplishing something when you did it, when you're laying them out on the board. Like you set out to do something and you're able to do it. And then also, lastly, with games like this, it can be kind of frustrating when you're trying to do something and you can't do it. So I really liked how they have that one area. You can just reserve this one stamp, so it's going to be fine. You can still work towards your objective.
This theme is probably not a universally like attractive theme, right? So many board games have these big adventure, big grandiose themes, and big, whatever is going on. But we like unique themes too as board gamers, and a stamp collecting theme is super cool and weird, right? I like that. The game worked really well for that, and it's not going to be something that's going to be like eye-catching, right? It's not going to be like, you're not going to be drawn to the visual or the theme, maybe of Swamp, whatever it's called. I think it was a cool and unique theme that I really enjoyed exploring.
He really liked the tongue twister aspect of it.
Yeah, I could not say this game, let alone one time fast in a row, but like 3 times fast in a row, forget about it. So the gameplay itself, rock solid. The theme, it's not super, super eye-catchy, but it is unique and cool. Definitely check this one out.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. You guys, thanks so much for watching. This game was provided to us by a publisher in exchange for a fair and honest review.
And if you want to see more stuff, check out over here to see something we think you might like.
And over here, we think that YouTube has picked out a great video for you you're going to love. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.